Hey everybody, Maddox here and welcome back to the Pokehistorian. Today we're doing my top 10 favorite Japanese exclusive Pokemon cards. So with that, let's dive in, shall we? Flip it around for Big 10, the Lugia Game Boy promo. A very simplistic artwork of Lugia, but to me it really pops and the simplicity works in Lugia's favor because you can really just focus on the artwork of Lugia here. Classic Ken Sugimori artwork. Reminds me of that first experience playing Pokemon Silver back in the day and just absolutely falling in love with Lugia as a Pokemon. And of course, it became, if not my favorite Pokemon, probably my second favorite Pokemon of all time. I always go back and forth between this one and Mew. So yeah, really cool card. I remember seeing this a lot when I was a kid, like in magazines and stuff, but I could never have it. And I finally got it back during the pandemic. And I love looking at it all the time. It looks like Lugia is in some sort of cyclone or something in this background. It's very interesting. Okay, let's keep moving, huh? Because we're on to number 9. We got the Charizard CD promo. Very first video I did on this channel was about this card. Not a lot more I can say here that I didn't say in that video, but I love the artwork here of Charizard. It just harkens back to Pokemon Red. This is the actual artwork that's on the Pokemon Red cartridge, which is pretty cool. So it reminds me of being a 3rd grader and playing Pokemon Red in bed with my Game Boy light on before I went to bed, trying to make it through Viridian Forest. Just such a classic artwork of Charizard. This one will always hold a special place for me. Let's go to number 8. Another simplistic but elegant one. We got the Dragonite GB promo. Love this one. Again, I used to see this one in magazines all the time too, and I always wanted it, but none of the kids at Books A Million had it to trade with, so I was never able to get a copy up until the pandemic, where I bought it from some guy in Japan for 15 bucks. And definitely one of the best buys I had from over there, I'd say. Got this very simplistic Windows 98 type feel going on here with some bushes or some trees in the background, and I think it just works. Again, the artwork here is focused on Dragonite, and this is how I always picture Dragonite in my head from back in the day. Just a gorgeous card. On to number 7. A card we looked at recently, but we're going to look at it again because it's that good. And that's Karen's Tyranitar from the Versus series. And of course, the Versus series had a ton of exclusive artworks. In fact, I don't think any of those artworks, well, I shouldn't say any of them, maybe like a couple made it over here, but the vast majority of the artworks from that set never came to the English print. And of course, this is one of them, and this is my favorite card from the Versus set. I just love how powerful and stocky Tyranitar looks here. And God, look at that tail. It just looks freaking brutal. I would not want to get whacked with that thing. Then you got like this red crystal cave mining aesthetic in the background here, which looks really neat and contrasts well with Tyranitar's light green body. You got Karen's picture here, which harkens back to the Gym Heroes and Gym Challenge days. So definitely a really cool card. Now we're on to number 6. A card we looked at a very long time ago on this channel, but we're looking at again. We have Umbreon in the Daytime from the Umbreon in the City trilogy. So this is actually the sibling card to the Aquapolis Umbreon card, which features Umbreon at night up on this roof. And in this card, you can see that Umbreon is all tired because it's been staying up all night, and now it's yawning up on this roof and is barely able to stay awake. So really cool artwork. The city in the background here has got a lot of great details, so Rita did a really good job with that. And there's a sequel to these two sibling cards in the Unified Mind set, which has the Umbreon and Darkrai card, which takes place in the same exact city. So just a really cool piece of history right here. All right, let's go to number 5. We have Zapdos the Power Plant, which we also looked at a long time ago, but we didn't look at the holographic version of it back then because I didn't have it. I just got this a few months ago. But this artwork's always going to be one of my favorites here. You got Zapdos looking very vintage up here, very old school Chimera artwork at the power plant. Always reminds me of Pokemon Red and Blue trying to catch that damn Zapdos at the power plant and struggling for so long because I couldn't figure out how to get it because none of the Pokeballs would work, but then I realized you had to try and put it to sleep first. So Zapdos will always hold a special place in my heart just because of that like core memory in my head. Beautiful card. Let's go to number 4. A more recent card and one we haven't looked at on this channel yet. We got the Eevee Munch promo. One day I'll do a full video on this card, but for now I'll just say I love these Munch promos. They harken back to the old screen painting, which is really cool. There's 5 of them. You got the Eevee here. Of course, there's a Psyduck one, there's a Rowlet one, there's a Mimikyu, there's a Pikachu. So a few different ones. I love the Pokemon cards that are based on famous artwork. It's just such an interesting concept, and I hope we get a lot more in the future. Love all the swirly colors here in the background. Nishida really knocked it out of the park. And yeah, beautiful card. Now, we're getting into the really good stuff. One of my absolute favorites. We have the Squirtle McDonald's promo. And boy, does this card just pop, man. Like, I love the colors in the background. It kind of reminds me of like a birthday party or something like that. You got Squirtle here sitting on top of a big bubble, and it's blowing like this pink bubble. It looks like it just doesn't have a care in the world. The artwork is like really original. And I don't know, this card just vibes with me so well. It's just such an interesting artwork. I can't think of any other cards that remind me of this card at all. It definitely seems like it's kind of like in its own category, which is what you want to see like in a Pokemon card, right? If you're in it for the artwork and stuff like that, you want to see cards that just really kind of stand on their own and just have their own distinct feel to it. And this card delivers on that front. Now we're hopping to a real big gun. Real big gun here. We got the Mario Pikachu, which everyone knows is super expensive these days. But price aside, I mean, this is one of the best Pokemon cards, y'all. Like, I mean, a Mario and Pokemon crossover card. I mean, how freaking cool is that? You got Mario dressed up as Pikachu, fist pumping, jumping like Mario likes to do out of the bushes. You got the official Mario font here saying Mario Pikachu. I mean, it's just, if you're a fan of Mario like I am, like I love like Mario Odyssey and the Galaxy games and 64, Sunshine's 8, like if you like Mario, like this card just really speaks to you. And I'm not surprised that it's gotten as pricey as it has based on the popularity it has. I mean, there's just really nothing like it. This is the ultimate Pokemon crossover card. We'll see if someday maybe it gets eclipsed by something else. Maybe if they did like a Legend of Zelda Pikachu. But even that, like, I don't think Zelda could beat Mario. Like, this is one of the best cards, y'all. If you can ever get your hands on this card, I would highly recommend it. It's one of those cards that once you get it, you don't ever want to get rid of it. But let's move on to number one. And if you're a fan of my other videos, this might come as no surprise because this is also in my top 10 favorite Pokemon cards of all time. But yeah, it's the Shining Corocoro Mew. This will always be one of my favorite Pokemon cards. I love the blue Mew. I love the background. It's all starry and just spacey. It looks like almost kind of reminds me of like an explosion in space or something like that. And I remember getting this card on this old website called Poke Order back when I was a kid and begging my mom to let me get it. And, you know, back then, like ordering things off the internet was a little taboo. It was always a little sketchy, but the card came in and I was just so happy to get it, and I've been in love with it ever since. Definitely deserves a spot on its list. It's just, for vintage Pokemon, like this is the card. Like I'd say for modern Pokemon, like Mario Pikachu is a big famous card you want to get, but for vintage, like this is one of those vintage Pokemon cards, in my opinion, that you just have to have. So there you have it. Those are my top 10 favorite exclusive Japanese Pokemon cards. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave me a like. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care.